What is going on, my dudes and dudettes? It's Sean here with SNES Serpentarium, and today we're just going to talk about... Oh bloody hell, what are you doing here? We're just going to talk about how often should you handle your pet snake. This is a complicated and multi-layered topic that I'll try to take my time on and just go through it step by step, just so you can work out for yourself how often and for how long you should handle your snake. Now, for a juvenile snake, okay, well, before we get into that, actually, I'll just say real quick, the main sort of criteria that you need to bear in mind how often you should handle your snake is the age, the size, the level of heat it actually needs, believe it or not, compared to what your house is. So if you've got a really cold house and a snake that likes it really warm, then that's something to bear in mind. The stress level of the snake, how easy it stresses out. Like this boy here, he stresses out quite a lot. How much you need to work with it to tame it out. There's quite a few things, as you can see. If I think of any more, because I do all these videos just off the cuff, but if I think of anything else, I'll just add it in later, and I probably will. There's probably something I've forgotten to add. Right, so getting straight into it then, the age. If you've got a young snake, I really wouldn't recommend handling it that much. Just keep in mind when you are handling the snakes, guys, it is for your own entertainment. The snakes don't get anything out of it at all. Just be nice and gentle like I am here. I'm just leaving him do what he wants. I'm trying to keep him to where I want him, because these snakes are quite dirty, and if he gets on the floor or something, I'm unlikely to catch him. So just bear that in mind there, right? Nice and gentle, and just let the snake go where it wants for the most part, unless it's going to get somewhere where it's going to get into trouble. Stunning snake, as you can see, really pretty. It's actually a Chinese beauty snake. If you want to check it out, it's in the card above. Yeah, so with a hatchling then, guys, I wouldn't recommend handling it that often at all, especially if it's a small species like a African house snake or a corn snake. I wouldn't recommend handling that at all, just because of how small they are. They're easy to get away then. Once it gets a bit bigger, you can handle it a little bit more. If it's something like a royal python, you can handle it just to keep it tame and to keep yourself happy that you've got a pet snake and stuff. But I wouldn't handle it for more than 15 minutes at a time, and realistically, I wouldn't do that more than 3 times a week with a hatching royal. With something like a boa, you know, you can handle it that little bit more just to keep it that little bit more tame. But again, I wouldn't handle it for too long, just because they like it that little bit warmer. They can stress out quite a lot when they're babies. They can be quite nippy. So you've got to find that balance between taming the snake out and you know, not stressing out. That's a really key balance. So stress levels then. Different species of snakes stress out more than others, and different individuals of that species stress more than others. I've got royals here I can handle quite often if I choose to, but then I've got other ones here, if I handle more than, you know, once a week or whatever, they'll go off their food. But then again, even those royals tend to be better than other species in general, like these here, the Chinese beauties. These stress out a lot when they're handled, for the most part, especially when they're small. They're a very shy species. But then other snakes, like your corn snakes, they don't stress out that much. They won't go off their food even if you handle them every day. And because they require that cooler temperature, like I talked about earlier, your house temperature won't affect it that much, even if you had it out for like half an hour to an hour a day. There are actually quite a lot of studies on snakes and stress when handling. So if you just go on Scholar Google, I'm sure you can find some there. But that is what you need to keep in mind, really. Just keep an eye on it. How often is it feeding when you're handling it more? And if it's not feeding, then I don't handle it at all until it starts feeding, unless you need to just get it out to clean the enclosure or whatever. But other than that, I won't handle a snake that's not feeding. Right, so keeping a snake tame then. For keeping a snake tame, you need to handle it as often as possible, frequency, but for short periods of time, just so that it gets out and it calms down. Like this boy here, when I first had him out, he was flying all over the shop, but now he's nice and calm. And after I record this video, he'll actually be going back in his house. So that's something you need to just keep in mind as well, is, you know, the frequency you need to handle your snake. Given that you know you want to keep it tame. For keeping a snake tame, organic tame, I would recommend at least 15-minute sessions and at least 3 times a week. And then where you find the difference then between handling it every day and handling it sort of when it's got food, if that makes sense. So if it's feeding, don't handle it for a day, like on the day, and don't handle it for 2 days after. But if it's not feeding because you're handling it, then you need to tone it back. So say if you're handling it 5 times a week for 15 minutes a time, then tone it back to maybe 3 times a week for 15 minutes a time. And then as it starts feeding again, try to build it back up. And that's the sort of method I would use for handling a snake to keep it tame. So yeah, different species can tolerate different amounts of handling. That's worth bearing in mind. Different individuals can tolerate different amounts of handling. So as long as you're keeping an eye on what you're doing, you're keeping an eye on your snake, you know it's healthy, it's doing what it should, then you're not over handling it. But at the first sign of stress, just stop handling it. And then you'll have a happy, healthy snake like this dude, yeah. See, absolutely gorgeous, taming down really well with me as well. But absolute fantastic coloration on him. Look at that. It's out of focus a little bit there, so I'll just try to get out with a shot. There we go. Look at that, gorgeous. There's a reason why they call them beauty snakes. So sorry for rambling on a little bit there, guys, but that's just my thoughts. If I watch this video back and I think, oh no, I've forgotten to add something, I'll just drop it in the description and I'll pin a comment. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe and smash the notifications bell. I've got an active comment section, as I've said a few times here, so just comment. I'll definitely reply. If you've got any questions, I'll definitely reply. If it's a good question, I might even do a video on it. And yeah, drop us a like if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.